Hi everyone, welcome back to Dento'ZEN. We are going to continue our lecture on salivary gland tumors. Last lecture we discussed that what salivary gland tumors are, which all salivary glands can be involved, both major and minor salivary glands, which is the most common salivary gland tumor, which is the most commonly involved gland, which is the most common intraoral site, that is inside the mouth, where we see salivary gland tumors most commonly. What is the rule of AT? What is the histogenesis of salivary gland tumors? Theories of histogenesis, that is cell of origin of these tumor cells. So all these are your important MCQs for your NEET MDS exam. If you have not watched that video, don't forget to watch it. In this lecture, we are going to discuss the classification of salivary gland tumors, which can be part of your long question for your university exams. So the question would come to you, classify salivary gland tumors. That will be the first part of your question, and second part of your question will be to describe any one salivary gland tumor in detail. It can be pleomorphic adenoma, Warthin tumor, or mucoepidermoid carcinoma. So for the first part, you have to write the classification of these salivary gland tumors. So broadly, they are classified as benign salivary gland tumors and malignant salivary gland tumors, as we discussed in the last video as well. So there are two broad categories, benign and malignant. Now you would be thinking that there are so many tumor names. How are we going to remember all those names? What if I tell you, you don't need to memorize the names, but what you have to understand is the naming, that how these tumors are named. What is the criteria behind their naming? If you can understand that, then classification of these tumors will become super easy for you. So let's understand how do we name them and how do we classify them. So before starting, quickly subscribe to Dento'ZEN, tap on the like button, hit the bell icon so that you remain notified about new videos. Now, before we go directly into the classification, let's understand that how this classification has evolved over the years. We discussed that salivary gland tumors are one of the histopathologically diverse tumors, that is, they show a lot of diversity. So what do you think? Is it easy to classify such tumors which show diversity? No, it's not easy to classify them. WHO, World Health Organization, has given the classification of these tumors, and it has revised this classification in different years as our understanding of these tumors have evolved. So different classifications have been given. So sometimes they can ask you when was the first edition of classification given, or which is the latest edition, and how it evolved, what were the changes. So you don't need to remember the year, don't worry. Just need to understand that how this classification changed over years and why it changed. So the first edition of WHO classification was published in the year 1972. At that time, we could just see what under the microscopic appearance. So there were only limited number of salivary gland tumors. So only few tumors were there in the classification. Then came year 1991. More tumors were discovered. They were arranged in a better systematic way. And the classification that came was called histological classification of salivary gland tumors. That was based on how they looked under the microscope. And this is the main classification which we have to use for our exams. Now let's move to 2005. So by this time, pathology had advanced. We were not relying only on what we could see under the microscope, but we started seeing at the proteins inside these tumor cells. So these proteins acted as markers. So they actually tell us that what type of tumor cell it is. And these proteins were identified by a special laboratory technique which is called immunohistochemistry, or IHC. Then in 2017 and finally in 2022, our understanding of these tumors has become much better, because now we are just not looking at the specific proteins, but now we are actually looking at the genes inside these tumor cells. So if we can find what gene mutation it is, we can actually tell what salivary gland tumor it can be. So you see, this understanding at molecular level, genetic level, has helped us rename some of the tumors, to change them, to put them in better category. Some tumors, new tumors have been added, and WHO classification has become more precise. So that is how classification has evolved and why it has changed over the years. But our focus will remain mainly on the histological classification. So before we go to the classification, let's understand the most important concept of today's lecture, that is how do we name these tumors. If you can understand this, you will never have to mug up tumor names again. Like our name has two parts, salivary gland tumor name also has two parts. So the first part of the name tells us that what it looks like under the microscope, that is its microscopic appearance, or the cell it resembles, which normal salivary gland cell it resembles. So the first part of the name of the tumor is going to tell us about its microscopic appearance. as we discussed the histogenesis, that is normal salivary gland has different types of cells, acinar cells which produce saliva, myoepithelial cells, then various ductal cells, intercalated, striated, excretory duct cells. So all these are different types of cells. And in the tumors of salivary glands, in the microscopic appearance, our cell can resemble any of these different types of cells. So based on what cell it resembles, we give the first part of the name. For example, if the tumor cell looks like the myoepithelial cells, so we will give the name myoepithelial. So the first part of the name will be myoepithelial. If our tumor cell looks like the basal cells, so our first part will be the basal cell. If our tumor cell looks like the mucous acinar cells, so the first part of the name will be the mucus. So you see, the first part of the name is going to tell us the type of the cell or its microscopic appearance. Now let's go to the second part of the name. Now second part of the name tells us about its category. Yes, it tells us whether it belongs to the benign category or whether it belongs to the malignant category. If in the second part of the tumor we just see oma in the name, it means it's a benign tumor. If we see carcinoma in the name, that means it's a malignant salivary gland cell tumor, right? Remember that. So second part is going to tell us the category of the tumor, whether benign or malignant. If benign, we'll just see oma. If it is malignant, we will see carcinoma in the name. So those are the two parts of the salivary gland tumor name. So whenever you look at the salivary gland tumor name, just identify these two parts. And by looking at those parts, you can tell what type of tumor cell it is and what category it belongs to, whether it's benign or malignant. Now let's understand this with one example. Pleomorphic adenoma, the most important salivary gland tumor, which comes as a question for your university exams. It comes as a long question, part of your long question. So let's look at the two parts. What is the first part? First part is the pleomorphic and second part is the adenoma. So first part tells us its microscopic appearance. And second part is going to tell us whether it is benign or malignant. So looking at the first part, pleo means many, morphic means shapes. So under the microscope, it gives different shapes. It gives different appearances. Cells can take different shapes. There can be chondroid areas, cartilage-like areas, osseous areas. So because of this diverse appearance, it is called pleomorphic. That is many appearances under the microscope. So that is the first part. So first part tells us about its microscopic appearance. Now second part, as you see, the name contains adenoma. So what do you think? It's benign or malignant? Yes, you're right. It's benign. Adenoma means it's a benign tumor. So the entire name tells us that it has many shapes in the microscope, many appearances in the microscope, and it is a benign tumor. So now let's go to the actual classification that you have to use. But before that, let's understand, okay, first part we can tell by looking at the microscopic picture, but how do we identify the second part, whether it's benign or malignant? By looking at the features of the tumor. Last lecture also we discussed that benign tumors, salivary gland tumors, are usually slow growing. If your patient tells you this swelling has been present from long time and it is painless, it does not cause any pain, it is localized, it remains in that area only, it does not spread, and it is mobile. So these features indicate that the tumor in your patient is a benign salivary gland tumor. But if the patient tells that this tumor has grown rapidly, and you see it is spreading, it's showing metastasis, it's painful, it has a feature of pain, and it is fixed, then that indicates that it is a malignant tumor of salivary glands. Now another important feature sometimes your examiners want to ask related to the facial nerve. In context of the facial nerve, if your examiner asks you, okay, if the facial nerve is involved, if the tumor cells show involvement of facial nerve and the patient shows the features of paralysis on the face, you see the features of paralysis, what does it indicate about the nature of the tumor? That simply indicates that it is a malignant tumor. So if the facial nerve is involved, then it is a malignant tumor. If the facial nerve is not involved, there are no features of the facial nerve involvement, it usually indicates it's a benign tumor. That is in context to the salivary gland tumors that can be sometimes asked. Now let's go to the actual classification that you have to write in your exams. So the first category, benign tumors, adenomas, most important, commonly asked, pleomorphic adenoma. So the first part is going to tell us its microscopic appearance, many appearances, and adenoma tells us its benign nature. So if you look at all the tumors in this category, first part will tell you microscopic appearance, myoepithelial is the microscopic appearance, oma is the benign nature. Basal cell, microscopic appearance. Oma tells us its benign nature. Oncocytoma, oncocyte-like cells, its benign, its microscopic appearance, and oma tells its benign nature. Now there is one unique tumor in this category which is called Warthin's tumor, and that can be your important exam question. So pleomorphic adenoma is important question and Warthin's tumor is important question. Warthin tumor has other name also in which we use the suffix oma. So remember, it is a benign salivary gland tumor, popularly known as Warthin tumor, and is one of the important exam questions. So now let's look at the other tumors. Canalicular adenoma. Tumor cells are arranged in canal-like shapes. Then sebaceous adenoma, sebaceous cells and benign tumor. Ductal papilloma, ductal cells in papillary projections, and oma tells us its benign nature. Then cyst adenoma, cyst adeno is its microscopic appearance and oma is its benign nature. So that is the all tumors in the benign category. Now if you can remember these names, you can actually tell the malignant tumor names as well. So in case instead of oma, there we will have carcinoma. So sebaceous adenoma, we will have sebaceous adenocarcinoma. Then cyst adenoma will become cyst adenocarcinoma in malignant category. Oncocytoma will become oncocytic carcinoma. Then your basal cell adenoma will become basal cell adenocarcinoma. So that is how, if you can recall some of the benign tumor names, you can actually write some of the malignant tumor names also. Now coming to malignant category, carcinomas, the most important here is acinic cell carcinoma, mucoepidermoid carcinoma, adenoid cystic carcinoma. Now these three are important for your exams. So acinic cell microscopic appearance is acinic cell, acini-like cells. Mucoepidermoid, we see two types of cells in microscopy, mucus cells and epidermoid. Oid means like, epidermis-like cells. So two cells in microscopy. Adenoid cystic is its microscopic appearance, and carcinoma tells us its malignant nature. Then other tumors are polymorphous low-grade adenocarcinoma, epithelial myoepithelial carcinoma, basal cell adenocarcinoma, sebaceous carcinoma, papillary cyst adenocarcinoma, mucinous adenocarcinoma, oncocytic carcinoma. So we said oncocytoma benign. So in malignant it is oncocytic carcinoma. Salivary duct papilloma in benign, and salivary duct carcinoma is malignant. Adenocarcinoma, malignant myoepithelioma becomes malignant. Then squamous cell carcinoma, small cell carcinoma, undifferentiated carcinoma. Now there is one important tumor here which is known as carcinoma ex pleomorphic adenoma, which can sometimes be asked in viva what it is. So it is carcinoma at present, but in its past, in its X stage, it was pleomorphic adenoma. As simple as that. That is when tumor started originating, it was pleomorphic adenoma. It was a benign tumor, but when it was left untreated for a long time, it changed, it transformed, it started showing the carcinomatous changes. Patients said that it became fixed, it has become painful, and it is growing rapidly. So all these features indicate that now this benign tumor has become carcinomatous. So when at present moment it's carcinomatous, but in the past it was pleomorphic adenoma, then we call it carcinoma ex pleomorphic adenoma. That can be asked. So all these are the tumors in these benign and malignant categories. If you can write this much also for your exams, that is okay. But in 1991 classification, there has been other categories. If you can remember, you can write these also. Non-epithelial tumors, that means they are not arising from the epithelial part of the salivary gland, but salivary gland has other components also like connective tissue. So if the tumor arises from other components, it's non-epithelial tumor. Then malignant lymphomas, it's a lymphoma in the salivary gland. Secondary tumors, unclassified tumors, and tumor-like lesions. That means these lesions look like tumor, but they are not actually tumors. So they are also called non-neoplastic lesions of the salivary gland, which can be sometimes asked as a separate question on non-neoplastic disorders. So in this we have sialidinosis, oncocytosis, necrotizing sialometaplasia, benign lymphoepithelial lesion, cyst, salivary gland cyst, Kuttner tumor, and cystic lymphoid hyperplasia in AIDS. So necrotizing sialometaplasia can sometimes be asked as a short note. So we'll discuss that also. So in this classification in salivary gland tumors, the most important tumors that you have to remember, you have to study. In the benign, we have pleomorphic adenoma and Warthin tumor. And in the malignant category, we have to study mucoepidermoid carcinoma, adenoid cystic carcinoma, and acinic cell carcinoma. So we'll discuss these individual tumors in further lectures. So that is all for this video. If you really enjoyed the video, if you think that now by just looking at the tumor name you can tell what type of tumor it is, how does it appear under the microscope, so it's definitely going to help you write this classification in the exams. So if you really enjoyed the video, do tap on the like button, share this video with your friends, keep watching, keep learning. See you in the next video soon. Till then, take care. Bye bye.